Okay, namaste viewers and welcome back to the Immortal Bharat live stream. Today we are joined by Dr. Varun Kharbanda, and today we have a very special topic to be discussed, and that is the menace of fake news. Those of you who've seen some of our previous live streams, you would have seen Dr. Varunji's previous session with us on economics and dharma, and he's back with us now to discuss a very special topic, which is fake news. And Varun ji, आपने एक article लिखा था in this particular journal, which is MARGV. I'm just going to see if I can share that. सो मार्ग करके एक जर्नल है, उस पे आपने ये आर्टिकल लिखा था, एंड दिस वाज अबाउट how what is the impact of fake news to the world. And this was a very interesting article because आपने you had used a particular example उसमें, वो ट्रैफिक सिग्नल का जो आपने एग्जांपल यूज किया था, एंड हाउ जैसे न्यूज मीडिया जैसे बोलते हैं वैसे लोगों का उनका परसेप्शन बनता है. एंड अगर ट्रैफिक सिग्नल में अगर रेड को गो करके किसी ने बोल दिया तो वो गो ही हो जाएगा उसके मन में, और एंड दैट कैन लीड टू एक्सीडेंट्स. एंड दिस इज a very simple example, but also a very deep way to think of how some media organizations, at least in our country, are molding the perception of some people. So without any further ado, Varunji, I once again welcome you to our channel. It's great to have you back, and I'll hand it over to you. So over to you, Varunji.
Thank you, Santosh, for providing me the platform, and thanks to the audience for giving me the time here. The fake news is a very, very big concern for all of us as a humans, and I have been thinking about this for some doing a kind of a research or a thought process, the background of economics, and why people make this have trust some fake news, why they don't trust the other part of the news, why they call some of the news sources more authentic than the other. And this is not I am all people do the same thing on for one particular media outlet or any of the news. It's some people believe in some news, some people believe in some media house, and that beliefs are very, very diverse, and that's the reason of why the clash happen and why the people fight with each other. Think about it, if there is any kind of a problem between two people, we know the greed is bad, we know the corruption is bad, we know lying is bad. If we all sit together and look out all the facts and understand, okay, what's happening with which person is someone who's going to go for greed, so how can we just explain him greed is not that good, how to make the solution to the two parties problem better, and making it more just, so that both are happy and both are can be make settle down in peace with themselves. To give you a small example, which just comes to my mind, is about Mahabharata. We have a Kaurava, we have Pandavas. They were fighting with each other. They were a discussion about how to divide the property, and Krishna ji went on and ahead and gave up a solution. Okay, give us 5 villages for 5 Pandavas, take up all the things. But the greed of Kauravas played in, and then they didn't let that solution happen. But if we have, as a society at that time, all the elders had sat together and thought about, okay, what's going on in the mind of Kauravas? Are they doing just or not? And then if once you understand, it's a greed of Duryodhan, you would have tried to explain him, reason with him, and make sure he understands it. I think that's what Krishna ji had, Bhagwan Krishna had done at that time, and still the solution is not there, then there's a fight. Now, there is a part of a corruption that goes in while the person doesn't acknowledge the facts that he's greedy or is not greedy, or he doesn't understand the reality of the world. It's the Pandavas are only asking for 5 villages. And you have a whole kingdom. 5 villages is not a big thing. You can just give that away. But it's a greed that plays in. There's a lot of people who kept silent. Think about it, if the elders, the father of Bhishma Pitama and the father of Rajaya, Kaurva's side, they would have sat together and said, no, this is wrong. Duryodhana have to give at least 5 villages. That's the minimum they are asking, and this is a very good deal for Duryodhana. I don't know why he want to go ahead for war and all that. However, there was inbuilt hate that Kauravas had towards Pandavas, Duryodhana has towards Bhishma and Yudhishthir, and that's all played a role in like pushing for that particular fake news where he was thinking like the just thing to do right now is to not give anything to anyone and go for war. That's the best decision that Duryodhana took. Uh, so now building up from that part of like there are internal beliefs that we each individual have, and there are like information that is fed to us for which we make a decision, and that's where the fake news menace comes in. Because if I understand Santosh Pant is going to make his decision based upon what he have seen all over his life, and I need to like interact with Santosh after like 5 years or 3 years to divide his property in two parts. I'm going to work on Santosh from today, providing him the information about whatever decision that I wanted to have in future with Santosh. So I'll start working on it, giving him some fake news, some misunderstanding about the world. All the world is same. There's no happiness in the world. I want Santosh like after 3 years, I want Santosh to give away all his property to my NGO. So I'll tell all the fake news about the how the worldly matters doesn't matter. You should not buy any car. You should not invest anywhere. Just collect all your money and donate it to the NGO. And the best NGO that I have is my NGO. So that is all the fake news narrative starts because I'm trying to like build upon the your beliefs towards the world, towards the particular like institution, all these NGOs like Amnesty, Cry, Child Care, even like Microsoft or any product. You take any product in the world, they try to make their brand positioning by doing the marketing, by associating with the other people who have like some sort of reputation, building the reputation of the people also. Like Amitabh Bachchan, his reputation has been built in some way. Similarly, like there's other like Javed Akhtar, his reputation has been built by the media in some way, and then his reputation has been used to sell like orthodox, like that they send you like a pain ban for knee pain and all that. So all this is like made up things which is being like we see in every day of our life, but we just trust them blindly. We don't take a step back and think about it. Okay, we took this decision based upon all this information. However, was this decision paid us off or not? Was it a good decision or not? But the human mentality is like once they made a decision about anything, they would try to defend upon it because they have already invested some kind of it. And that's when the internal corruption comes in. So from the example of Mahabharata, we have Duryodhana who had invested and Kauravas who have invested a lot of time and money thinking like Pandavas are not supposed to be alive or like they should not get any property and they have like keep investing in that kind of a belief for a long period of time. So even when the best opportunity of like just giving 5 villages to Pandavas comes to Kauravas, they just deny it. They're like, no, this is not right. And they were fighting for their righteousness. Pandavas are fighting for their righteousness. But in the end, whoever stood with the truth wins the war. And as we have seen, the Bhagwan Krishna stands with the truth, and that's why Pandavas won the war.
Varunji, there's a very interesting perspective here because obviously there is a certain kind of a pitch that all of us have in our mind, and we want to pursue that. For example, let's take the HAL Tejas, the jet that was there, and
Hmm.
HAL Tejas has been in development for a really long time. I think over a decade, the technology has been in development, and even before HAL Tejas, this is the second indigenous flight that we are developing. But before this, I think in 1967, HAL developed a H-24, HF-24 Marut. That
Hmm.
was almost a supersonic flight, but I mean the engines were not upgraded, so it could not reach the supersonic speed. But that was the design philosophy to build a supersonic jet. And if that would have succeeded, if the engines were upgraded, then it would have been Asia's first supersonic jet. But even then, even without supersonic engine at that time, they had built the jet, and around I think 40 or 50 jets were already put in operation by 69, 70. And a battle of Longewala, which happened in the western area with Pakistan, HAL Marut had played a very important role. So over the next 10 years after the 1970 war, if the government would have invested in development of this jet, I think we would have had a terrible, amazing, say, progress in not only the aircraft but also in jet propulsion technology, jet engines, which are actually one of the most difficult investments and research areas. So at that time, based on some of the reading that I did on the internet, apparently the KGB apparatus of Russia, the Russian intelligence, they were obviously very close partners of some people in India, and using the news organizations, using some of the NGOs, and using some of the bureaucratic apparatus, they had convinced the government to stop investing in Marut. So government had banned Marut and the entire production had stopped. And that also came through IAF, because the Indian Air Force said, it is now obsolete, we don't need. But some quarters of IAF were saying, Array, it's a very good aircraft, it has performed so well in so many theaters, and not a single aircraft was actually lost. They had a very high success rate in performing their operations. So, I mean, because, and I think vested interest from abroad. So, like you said, Kauravas had built that machinery to create some kind of a machinery where they made these people realize that, okay, Pandavas are so and so, they don't need to be alive. And despite Pandavas being at the good side, or standing with the truth, they somehow did not find that support. And these things happen. So I also want to just put some, before I hand it over to you once again, I just wanted to put some things into perspective for our viewers, because fake news actually is done by not only the media organizations, also by NGOs, who in turn fund the media organizations. I mean, it's the game of the highest bidder. So I'll just share some articles here. So for example, this one here, it says, this is an article from Op India, and this article is about the BBC's research on fake news. So apparently BBC had done some research on what exactly they think about the fake news industry in India. I mean, I don't know why they did it in India. They're a British broadcasting corporation. What business do they have in India? I mean, I don't know. But this was basically their procedure. So they had written that our sample size was between 19 to 23, 6 male and 4 female, and they have written this sample size. So for a country of 1.2 billion people, their sample size was 40. So they had researched 40 people to understand what fake news is.
And, that.
Yeah, and Survey Monkey, which is basically a website where we can go and register, and if we want to do an online survey, so they have the platform, they have the tool for that, and they have given best practices for survey, and they are saying, so if you take 10% of 1 million sample size, you will have 97% margin of error. I mean, there's 10% margin of error, and there's so much of error for 1%. So it basically says that the sample size is decided on the basis of the margin of error the survey is targeting and the confidence level the surveyor wants in his survey. So technically, if 90% of your sample likes grape bubblegum, a 5% margin of error would add 5% on either side of that number, meaning that 85% to 95% of your sample actually likes grape bubblegum. Yeah. So it's a gross misrepresentation of the entire country's media industry. And and these guys busted it using some data, using their methodology and what they did. So this is a very interesting article where they also pass off truth as fake news in their research, and they put all this together. So this is a very good article. I'll share this with you guys on the chat box now. And there was another article as well from Op India. I'll just also share that with you guys. And this is a very interesting one. Here, this is from Twitter. Okay, so this tweet says it is unavailable because it's been deleted. So what this tweet really was is it was saying that Denmark is concerned by the coronavirus spread in India, and the diplomat for Denmark, who is Freddie Swain, he replied to that tweet saying, "Sorry, this is not true." I'll see if I can click on this So yeah, this one, it says the tweet has been deleted. Okay, and here people are, you can see people's comments here. They are saying credibility of Hindu is on the wane because of its anti-national stand,
Yeah.
and people are saying that. So basically, people, they know what kind of a newspaper India really is. I mean, the Hindu really is, and what kind of outlook it has towards India. So this person is the diplomat in India. I just also share uh, the official Denmark or in India website. So, as you can see here, Freddie Swain is the ambassador from Denmark in India. So I mean, he's not some fake figure or something. So this is supported, backed by proof, and he has disapproved and he's busted the lies of the Hindu. So you see this fake news, viewers. The reason why actually Varunji also, he has written an article here, so I can just share that quickly. And this is a journal called Marg. Okay, and here he has written an article saying fake news is a challenge to world peace. And this is a very interesting article, and it's a very simple article as well. I will also share this PDF, so everyone has the links to what we are going to be speaking about. But the idea is the Hindu, the newspaper, the Hindu, it went on to write some news which was not backed by any facts. And the diplomat from Denmark actually had to bust that fake news. Now, if he had not seen it, this news would have been seen not only by Indians, but by everyone else. People in the world, American diplomats, and other people. So the perception that is built when they look at this news is, Array, if the government is not able to control COVID, how successful are they in controlling other pandemics? And what exactly will be their thinking about the bureaucratic or the government apparatus in India? I don't, if they are planning to invest in our country, or if they're planning to come visit our country, if they're planning to give somebody some money, for doing any kind of operations in our country, they will think twice because they are not particularly sure of how safe it is. And this is particularly the premise of today's discussion. And so I'll just hand it over to you, Varunji. And I think you also have a presentation, so I'll just hand it over to you. Thank you.
So the article that I have written is like after thought and a bit of research to come the economic side of it, and there's a presentation that I did for the Mark Foundation. It's one NGO based in DC, and they have invited me for this presentation. So I'm gonna share my screen and like just take you through quickly to the presentation, giving you some examples and like how has it been. Like how the fake news impacts the world peace and go on in like impacting a lot of other places. So uh, just give me a minute. Let me know once you can see my screen.
Yeah, so it's yeah, we can see it.
Okay. So I'll just quickly go through this is some important. So here is like we have to understand how individuals make decisions because decisions is what matters. So these decisions are made up of all what we hear, see, and feel in our senses, all about the world in over our lifetime. So in lifetime, whatever we have seen about the world, about the person, about the institution, to movies, to news media, to reading the newspapers like the Hindu or the Hindustan Times and the Times of India, all that things that we have done over the past year, we will make our decision based on that. And these decisions brings actions, which is basically karma, and the karma has consequences for me and for the world, for all of us. Like any of our karma, like individual karmas have impact in all this. I just want to mention like a karma of individuals in IAF, in Air Force, and in NGOs in 1967 when the Indian aircraft was being built. In that scenario, so each individual had played some role in making the decision of government change towards which is not benefit for humanity or for Indians, specifically if I say. They didn't pursue the best technology that they had at that time, which could have placed them a lot ahead in the world power. and to show to the world that India is capable of extra holding on the external attacks, and like it is the best place to work for, best country to place put your money and investment into it. So all those individual actions has consequences for me and for the world. So all the Hindu articles that they put together and feed to people, and people make decisions on them. If it's fake news, it's gonna have consequences. So action has consequences. Just a quick, like, this is something I've got it from the uh, uh, website. So information is what we all gather. We put knowledge, like from all this information, we extract the knowledge. We learn some basic facts and then stick with them, and we apply the wisdom and play the karma, and the karma has a consequences. So if there is a red light on some particular junction and you are driving, you know you are driving towards that junction. There is a red light there, so you might have to stop. So will be conscious, and once you see the red light, your wisdom says like you stop your car, and your action will be stopping the car. Once you stop the car, then your result will be no accident. That's full, and then the world will be like safe because you will reach your home safely. There will not traffic jam. Everything flows fine. Everything will be great. Quickly, like if there is a fake news that there is no red light in this, and this information is fed to you every day, like you go to this particular road every day and you don't see any red light, and suddenly there is a red light, and but newspaper just doesn't mention it, and you keep on driving on constant speed, and you didn't see the red light or any of signal, and you might meet an accident. There will be You have to go to the hospital and meet a traffic jam. So this is very quick example of how the karma and the world plays a role. Um, this is the one which is very interesting example from for Indians and for the world over. Uh, I would like everyone to have a focus on this one. Santosh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes. So I just want to say here that so we'll have to read this from the bottom, viewers. So because the news on the left side, and on the column one, and on the column two it says the news, if it is fact based, floods make Bengal tigers turn to be human flesh eaters. So that's a fact based news.
Yeah, this is what have. So this is something which has been like studied or done, and like in India, because in Sundarbans we have a lot of tigers, and Bengal tiger is very famous. And we got to know that in Sundarbans, Bengal tigers turn to be a man eater, like they are like become what we call like cannibal, kind of nalbakshi, the right word. So here is the context. Like we have this information, they are man eaters, and we have the knowledge this that I am as an individual is in Sundarbans in West Bengal, and if I am driving there, I'm not safe outside my car. That's the knowledge, and that's like wisdom. If your car breaks down in a forest of Sundarbans, you are better stay safe in your car. Don't go out and wander. You will apply this into action. You If your car get uh, broke in the middle of the forest, Sundarbans, you will stay in your car. You will not get out. Don't get out or step out of your car. The result will be like you will be not in danger. You will use your phone, get help, and then get out of it, and you stay safe. And you work for humanity or whatever you wanted to work for. However, if there is assume if there is a journalist who basically loves tigers, he is like crazy about tigers. Like he writes for Hindu, and in Hindu he just write tigers are wonderful, and they are like he just put an article saying very nice things about tigers, and then he says like Bengal tigers are adorable and could be great friends. And this is like we have seen a lot of time like uh, news media promote some kind of people or some particular person, saying they are being human is their Bengal tigers are adorable and could be great friends. These people could be being human. Uh, so the information that any new reader, if he had not seen the world before and was only reading the Hindu newspaper, he will be like, okay, Bengal tigers are adorable and maybe good friendly. So he will apply his knowledge. Like if I ever been in Sundarbans, West Bengal, I am safe outside my car, even if there's a tigers, because tigers could be adorable and could be great friends. So it could be great friends. How no matter how valid the statement looks, like Bengal tigers are adorable and could be great friends, it's fake. It is true, like Bengal tigers could be adorable and could be a great friends if you can try to make them up. However, they are not. That's a fact of life. So if you are get into your car and driving through the Sundarbans and you get stuck out in the forest, you would apply your wisdom. It's like, yeah, I'm in the Sundarbans. There are beauty tigers who are adorable and could be great friends. Let me go out and look out for these kind of tigers. So you will apply that into action and you will go out and start looking out for Bengal tiger. What will be the result? You will be eaten by the tiger because tigers are man eaters now. And then you will not be in the world and the world miss out on all your service. So this is like I think one of the nice example that I've got for everyone is like, don't trust anyone just because like some newspaper or some news outlet say like this is good person. This is the role model for you. You have to look out for their actions. You have to look out for their real life understanding about what they say and what they speak. So it's the thing is that we have to stick with the truth. And it's not like a fake news is a problem in India only. Fake news is a problem in America. A big time. There's like a majority of people are left confused because of the fake news. They don't know which side to pick, whether to go with the truth or whether to go with the whatever fake news they have been fed. And that's the reason I think we have like a very divided society where we have Republicans and Democrats in US, and in India there's like a all pro BJP, all pro Congress, and all pro Kejriwal supporters, like all side of equation. So the whole problem why we have divided society is the news, the misinformation or the disinformation that has been provided by the institutions or by the public or by some group of people. They fed you the fake news using the satire or like a jokes parody, like stand-up comedians. We have seen how they spread the fake news. They put the misleading content, um, some content which is like totally not relevant, imposter content, when the genuine sources are impersonated, fabricated contents. So there's a lot of different kind of ways by which they can fed you the fake news. They can make you jokes that are saying that are not harmful. Uh, they don't even tell you the truth. They can really say like someone have said this thing. They just make a lie out of thin air. They can they don't like give you that. They give you the headline which is totally opposite to the what has been said by a person. A lot of time misquotes happen. They just pick up one small part of it. Like you have seen that in our books and like our scriptures, they say ahimsa paramo dharma. So anyone who doesn't do non-violence is the best religion or best path to do. But they don't tell like to uh, dharma hinsa satyavicha, which is like doing violence or stopping the adharma by violence is the best, is the more better path than just doing non-violence. So manipulation that happens, and this is just some examples where they use jokes which doesn't look harmful, but it really like make you think whether like is this true, like what they are trying to tell. So this is like one of the one I found it like great moments in pagan history. So this is in they are saying like someone have invented hot tubs in 1307, but now Hindu as these Jains, Buddhists, and a lot of like all tribal people who worship mountains, who worship rivers, who worship sun or any of the natural form. They all are pagans. Now, how many of you know like this witchcraft kind of thing? Like this is just the intention to say all the pagans are like witchcraft people. Like I don't know any of them, but this is what they have been portrayed like pagans. So all of us has been portrayed by this kind of jokes that we know witchcraft, we do a lot of other things. Similarly, like on Hinduism, they make jokes. Like I'll explain Hinduism, but first let me get high. what like how many Hindus you know who smoke? Like I'm a Hindu and I've been like living Hindu. I don't know a lot of people who smoke this kind of things. And I've been to Kavada Yatra also, where we take a walk from Haridwar to Delhi, like 200 kilometers by foot, and I meet like thousand and thousand people of Hindus who are like doing the Kavada Yatra. And you know, Kavada Yatra is very been famous for people getting high, or with the drugs and all that. But I never see like there's only like around 5 to 10% of people. In all like thousands of thousand people I see someone doing drugs or like walking just like as a drug in a sense, like they take that leaves and just rub in their hand and then they put it. I don't know how they smoke it. I have no clue on this, but I never see any of them doing it. Like at most 1% of the population I've seen might be doing it, like doing some rubbing and all that. But again, there's some jokes that is made in US about Hindus, so that Hindus have multiple gods. So here we see the face of like there's some homework given and then the girl says, "Oh my God," and the Hindu interrupts and say, "Oh my gods." So you can say the facial face of like how the face expression changes, and this is like to be feel ashamed to be a pagan or Hindu. Like he could have said it smiling, but and the face of girl and the guy changes. So there's a lot of kind of fake news that has been spread to jokes and all with stand-up comedians. So now we have viewers with us, and I wanted to give them some time. Can you identify like what we know? Like this is a fake news. 45 minutes attack from attack. Dossier when Saddam is ready to launch chemical war, like WMDs, if everybody remembers, like never WMDs were never found, no chemical weapons were ever found. Um, this is definitely not a fact, or this is definitely a fake news, which we know after the Iraq has been disrupted. But this is kind of a like one kind of a fake news that they have spread it on, which is basically totally like a imposter content, false content, or fabricated content. It's just fabricated this thing. So
And Varunji, I think this was one of the most successful campaigns of during the Bush period. I mean, how exactly were they able to spread this information on such a global scale? Because I think they had international support to go into Iraq, and then later on, when the agencies found out, they said, "Ki there are nothing called weapons of mass destruction in Iraq.
So
There was nothing here."
this is the interesting part.
So
Like not
yeah.
only individuals, even countries are taken for ride by fake news, and there are consequences. Like countries make the decision of either supporting the war or not supporting the war, and in the end, what we have like a destruction of like a beautiful nation. Like a lot of people die. That's the problem with the fake news. Like you put the fake news, you put a machinery of people of manipulators to make the fake news look real, and then you have consequences. And this is not like unintentional. This was like by intentional. They put the fake news to misguide countries. Misguide. There might be corruption at a country level in their investigative agencies who kept quiet and saying like no, they just stand by. And there is a full corruption that at individual level and at institution level we can see here. But these are the consequences that we see every day. And this is just like one example. And now, how many know like is this a fake news or fact? Viewers, like I would like you to vote quickly. The Catholic Church apologized for its role in Rwanda genocide. Now, I want you to like do your own research from different kind of web browsers, even Google in India and Google in US and Google in outside India, other places. So go and find out whether this is a fact or not. That a Catholic Church apology for its role in Rwanda genocide. This is from some agency, but you need to know what is truth and what is not. Like we'll come back to it in later.
I
Now,
think I think Varunji, they can also be another puzzle for saying the Portuguese Central Catholic Church or whatever apologizes for its Holocaust in Goa.
They didn't. I think. I don't think
They
they
haven't. They have never done that.
they never. So that's the thing. Like understanding what is the truth and accepting the facts will help all of us in becoming better human beings and in making the peace with all of our other people. If you just deny the facts and spread the fake news, it's gonna harm all of us. So now, how to identify facts from mis and disinformation news? So this is an important part. This has not been covered in the article. This has not been like I still need to write an article on this, but this is like one important part which everybody asks me like, how do you identify whether something is fake on your? Like if I tell them this is fake news, like how do you know? How do you know? They are methods. They are proper methods, and our ancestors who have been like so knowledgeable, who have created a world's like the most successful economy and like everything was like awesome during their time because of the work that they did and because of the basics that they laid out, the foundation that our ancestors have created to create Hinduism or Hinduism that we all stand in and we stay united in this big country. All that is because of the work that they have done and which is based upon like a lot more research and the facts. So this is from their work. Like this is not mine, but truth has no dirt of itself, and falsehood has no base to stand on. So this is like intelligent, knowledgeable people understand this principle and use it to identify them. So this is as simple as this. Like if you just trust or like understand this small principle that anything which is truth will know has no dirt of itself. If I'm saying if this is there's a truth that sun is shining, then there will be ample amount of evidence, like infinite amount of evidence that will show that sun is shining. There will be light, there will be heat, there will be millions and millions of evidence you can put together in like to support the truth. But falsehood, if there is something which is false, will have no base to stand on, and that's the reason like they have to create fake news, like all like invite the whole like buy people to speak, the NGOs and media houses to say the same lie so many times. Lies been like repeated, and people get paid to spread the lie. Corruption has been forced upon, and then a lot of effort has been put together to create that base for the false to stand up. And I can tell you like it cannot be like that. It's very very hard to change each and everything in the world to put one lie. It's not doable, but people spend a lot of energy and money into it. And this is from the quote, Nasto vidate bhavo, na bhavo vidate sat. Upayoyapi dishtosan. So there's some quote in this, and this the bhavat of this is like असत्य की कोई सत्ता नहीं होती और सत्य का अभाव नहीं होता. तत्वज्ञानी इस समझ रहस्य को समझते हैं. जो तत्व like the people who study the materials, who material world and like worldly things, they understand this like particular like people who understand the material part, they follow this particular principle and understand this particular principle to identify the fake news or falsehood from truth. So I think I picked it up from Bhagavad Gita. Like I'm still not sure, but I like the quote. Now we have to know the fact, and that facts are not like your fact or your truth. It's facts are all universal. Facts are for all, and truth is for all to see. And we have to understand the other aspect or other characteristics of truth is like truth always unite. If we know someone is greedy and he also understand that he's being greedy, then it will unite all the people, all like greedy and the non greedy people also. But lies divide. Like even if you are saying the truth, the other person doesn't understand it or being corrupt, it will divide you people. So but we have to understand the truth is going to be like more helpful in creating harmony with nature, making that peace with nature because that's what the nature looks like. But lies will divide us. Now perspectives are personal and are good to have. Like we have perspective towards the world. I have my own perspective about how this particular institution work, like the Hindu newspaper. I have my own perspective, and some people who have been like told, "Well, being an IES, you have to read the Hindu. The best English language is the best taught in the Hindu." So all that thing. So they can have their own perspective. The perspectives are good, but don't confuse that facts with the perspective. And now, why people lie and why fake news exists? This is like one interesting part which I've like. This is more of like a thought process. You know, now to understand why people lie and why the fake news exists, you just need to know yourself, and that's the way to know everything. Now, why would you lie, and why you would pay to write false stories? Why, if you know the truth and you stay silent? So this is all like individually we have to think like if someone is lying to us, what are the reasons we have given? If you have to pay to someone to write false stories, why would you do that? And if you know the truth and you choose to be silent, then what's the reason for that? Why would you do that? And moreover, why you wanted to know the truth? Why does it matter to you? And why you wanted to know the fake news? So these are the questions which you have to meditate to get the answers to. So all this, like once you start feeling for each and every individual and thinking from the basic point of view, you will get to know the answers about. There's a money, there's a greed, there's a lot of like personal like corruptions where we wanted to be excel without doing the hard work kind of thing. That's when we do the fake news, we lie to people, we want to make false impression, we want to have some like access to some particular person, and we wanted to stay close to some particular individual. So there's so many things because of which we all like spread news. Like we would basically lie or we would stay silent when we are seeing the fake news. But all this is like part of the problem. If you stay silent when you see the fake news or you don't stand with the truth, then it's a problem. Now, coming back to the news, and there's again like one of the news which basically made me a big time fool for a long time. Uh, so there are some couple of videos which is on Vajpayee ji saying to the Modi ji that whether he had done his Raj Dharma or not, and only half of the clip was always shown to me. There's a link to the full clip, so I will let you decide whether you wanted to show these clips or not. But these are like whether the Modi is following the Raj Dharma or not. And a lot of people have seen the full news later. And again on Modi ji that every person will get 15 lakhs if black money is bought back. No, if the black money is bought back, then they will get the now. The fake news was spread. PM Modi giving 15 lakhs in every poor Indian account from the black money after 2016. So there's a lot of these kind of fake news, and this is from 2016 presidential preference. We have seen like, how everybody was like all the media was saying like Hillary Clinton will win. We have a different one. Now, this is also one of the news, which is Hillary Clinton created ISIS with Obama. It's time the American people hold those who helped create the terrorists who want to kill us responsible for their actions. So some kind of news. Now, these all are the examples where you have to find out whether these are fact or not. So uh, definitely we know this is not fact, and definitely this has been questioned. We have to identify it.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think in hindsight, and after the events have passed, I think over a period of time we'll get to know if that news was fake or not, at least in our current environment. And one example of this is the Sushant Singh Rajput case. After whatever incident happened in his room, जब पुलिस वहां पे गया था, उन वो लोग वहां पे थे, बॉडी को एम्बुलेंस में लेके गए, एंड अपेरेंटली देयर वर टू एम्बुलेंसेस वहां पे. फिर उसके बाद उन्होंने उसी दिन दोपहर को या शाम को एक स्टेटमेंट रिलीज कर दिया था कि अरे भाई इसका नहीं, आई थिंक एट दैट वेरी टाइम बिफोर दे इवन पुट द बॉडी इन द एम्बुलेंस, दे हैड गिवन अ स्टेटमेंट टू पुलिस सेइंग कि अरे भाई ये सुसाइड से मर गया, ही हैज कमिटेड सुसाइड. एंड ये प्रेस रिलीज जो है सारे मीडिया आउटलेट्स को चले गए, एंड एवरी मीडिया आउटलेट हैड सेड कि दिस पर्सन हैज कमिटेड सुसाइड. Obviously, if it's a press release coming from the police, one does not think twice because they are expected to be an honest and ethical organization. So media outlets also started publishing. It was when these people I mean, some the main public, when they started gathering on social media platforms, and they started saying कि अरे भाई यहाँ तो कुछ तो गोलमाल है, because whatever evidence we have, उसका जो height था fan से लेके bed तक, that was very short, and he is I think a 6 foot person, but the height between the fan and the bed is only 5'8" yeah 5'5", so how can he commit suicide? And just before the previous night, he was out with his friends, he was partying. So how can a person who is that jovial just previous night commit suicide, just on that same night? So these kind of questions were being asked by people on social media. तो ये time पे जब ये trending होने लगा, obviously the media organizations also started jumping into this bandwagon. But the important thing is they came in and they were asking the right questions. So लोगों को they had also given a vehicle for people to ask this question and reach some of the higher echelons of administration. And MP Dr. Subramanian Swamy got into the case. His advocate Ishkaran Singh Bhandari got into the case, and Republic Media got into the case. In fact, they were covering this continuously. And ये कवरेज के कारण सीबीआई तक गया, एनसीबी तक गया, और लोगों ने जब बताया कि अरे इसके अकाउंट से पैसे गायब हो गए, तो रिया चक्रवर्ती को पकड़ा मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग के केस में। फिर वहां से पता चला कि ड्रग्स का घोटाला है, अभी ड्रग्स का इन्वेस्टिगेशन चल रहा है, तो दे आर फाइंडिंग न्यू पीपल लाइक करण जौहर। आई मीन द यूजुअल सस्पेक्ट्स, पीपल ऑलरेडी न्यू these people have connections with the underworld, अभी बस बाहर निकल के आ रहा है। तो in hindsight, when people look at what news they saw first and what they are getting to see today, I think there is a pattern that is being understood even by the common man. Here, there are some media outlets. I want to name them. I mean, like NDTV, for example, India Today, for example, and there are some media outlets who have selective amnesia when it comes to certain facts, and who I don't know how they select what kind of news to show to people. उन्होंने तो रिया चक्रवर्ती का भी इंटरव्यू किया, and that interview was fine. Obviously, everyone should get their point of view across to the society, but selectively picking and saying ki Are, she does not know anything about drugs was the final outcome of that interview by Rajdeep Sardesai. She never said anything about it. If in fact he only said I don't know anything about drugs, and he had completely said ki okay, this is the truth, nobody has to do any investigation, that's it. And ये जो है, I mean, I'm just trying to say that there are many instances like this where the truth actually comes out, but it gets hidden in a lot of propaganda that was done before. जैसे मोदी जी का 2002 राइट्स पे फैलाया गया था, इन्हीं मीडिया आउटलेट्स ने फैलाया था कि अरे ये बिगटेड है, ये तो कम्युनल आदमी है, इसने इन लोगों को मारा, उन लोगों को मारा. But then the truth which came out later, it clearly shows that there was an outrage by a section of public because of what the other section had done. And there is also truth and evidence to show that he had tried to ask for police force from Madhya Pradesh, from Rajasthan, and they had denied to give him police. So obviously the riot had broken out, and wherever he could control it, he controlled it. तीसरा जो है सीए, अभी जो रायट्स है उस पे फैलाया गया था. The entire CAB bill was basically 1 page. I think max to max 1.5 page, where it clearly mentioned any minority that is being persecuted in the Islamic countries of Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, and any other neighboring country to India, they will be given permission to settle in India, and we can amend their citizenship. Also, it never said that जो अभी है वहां पे वो लोग आएंगे, उनको हम लोग डोर खोलेंगे और उनको सिटीजनशिप देंगे. They said कि who had come before, we are giving them citizenship now. And they also extended the act to saying कि अच्छा, if you are facing certain difficulties there, because that entire country was built on the premise of religion, they have certain minority, they're exterminating certain minorities, and it is global news. We will help you come into the country. बट उसको ऐसे फैलाया गया था कि whoever are in India, they will lose their citizenship, despite the bill being available online.
So, see, this is the problem of the fake news, right? And the people make their big decisions based upon the fake news. Who to vote? They decide on that. Oh, CA is this. And then we have seen that the fake news has a lot of problems. Like all the problems that the world see in any of the household or country or society, be it Syria, be it Afghanistan, be it the internal problems that we are seeing in within Pakistan, where there's like a terrorism attacks happening in US or in any country, the main problem is starts from the fake news corruption, like individual corruption. People are not ready to accept some things which is like being told to them. They don't want it to go ahead and like do their research. They just want it to be like easy and some just trust something which they are already like aligned themselves to over the years of grooming that they have been gone through in schooling and in other places. And the thing that the example that you have given for the Sushant Singh case is like, yeah, this was been like picked up later after a lot of hype has happened on social media. But the social media has also been controlled by outside people like the Facebook, WhatsApp, your Instagram, your YouTube. YouTube bans all any of the videos that they don't are not comfortable with. As simple as that. Like Facebook bans, and you have seen Twitter showing that it's not available. Yes, identify that it's
And they're very selective. So if there's a video that speaks, that is abusing Hindu gods or goddesses, for them that is freedom of speech,
yeah.
and it is educational content. It comes under that category, and it's fine to criticize anything. But when the same person, not the same person, but when somebody else utilizes the same principle and criticizes somebody else, some other minority religion or some any practice across the world, which is very specific to say Islam or Christianity, they immediately ban it.
Hmm.
And according to them, that does not apply. This particular logic does not apply to that video. And and like you said, I mean, this silencing has been going on, and one wonders. I mean, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, all these companies that we are heavily dependent on today as the main social media platforms. They are obviously controlled from abroad, and उनका जो teams है, ये जो teams है, they are obviously. I mean, I don't know what drives those people to make policies which they themselves don't follow. Thirdly, my actual main concern is in India, for example, अभी अभी हमने देखा the Hindus article saying Denmark is concerned about India's COVID problems. So this article was published and they had tweeted about it. The Danish diplomat had to bust it. But in India, we have information and broadcasting ministry. And despite having so much of evidence that these people are continuously and consistently spreading fake news, ये लोग कुछ एक्शन नहीं ले पा रहे हैं इन पे. मतलब I don't know if it is a inertia problem, if there is something. I mean, I don't know what they are waiting for. How much evidence do they need to take certain action on these people? Saying, okay, you have spread X amount of fake news in 1 year. Your license to do any news will be cancelled for the next 5 years.
Simple.
I mean,
Put it like one or two. It's again the statistics. Like out of 1,000 news, how many fake news you are spreading, and how much impact that these fake news are making. So you shouldn't be allowed to like do a mistake, which is they claim it's a mistake. It's a corruption if you ask me. They need to like stop doing this kind of a corruption, the media houses, and then a government. It's a responsibility of a government to make sure the fake news or lies are not spread across, specifically the ones which are really harmful to society. They don't let society uh, live in harmony.
exactly. I mean, there are two at least main areas where, especially CAA, for example, lot of fake news was spread. They didn't do anything to clamp down. फिर उसके बाद आर्टिकल 370 का जो आया, they did not take any action. I mean, in fact, George Soros, and I mean, this is not related to fake news per se, but I'm talking about the inertia problem of the Information Broadcasting Ministry or the Ministry of External Affairs to basically reply to these people saying, this is fake, this is the truth, this is fake. And, if how, I don't know what stops them from actually pursuing this. एक और है अभी ये वाला जो कोविड का है, लॉट ऑफ आउटलेट्स आर स्प्रेडिंग फेक न्यूज एंड
Just
या टू
one,
कंटिन्यू योर थॉट.
because we have been talking about all the fake news that are happening around us, and they are a lot of time. There are a lot of time the truth has been not told to people about it. Just one simple question: how old is the fake news now? What do you think? Like, what was the first fake news that's been spread? So,
I guess it's probably way before uh, even the First World War, definitely. Maybe even before that. I am sure, at least in India, I mean, if there is evidence, I am 100% sure that our Rajas, because they had always, I mean, every state will have some issue or the other with respect to water or land. There would have been information, disinformation definitely going on. But yeah, please enlighten us.
The fake news problem is prevalent since the time the news things becomes like the people started making decisions based on others' information. So if I tell you that someone wants you to like everybody in the world have to work in certain way, and you as an individual is has the same responsibility to act in a certain way. If that is not aligned with the fact, which is like not everybody needs to do the same thing in the same way, one thing in the same way. They, there's always like some people live in mountains, some people live in like close to the forest, they and like different other places, ocean. They do their same things differently, like eating habits and all. Everybody have their so that's the place where the first fake news comes up. Even in the times of like Adi Manav, just like when there was like only agriculture was happening, and if agriculture evolution happened, and some people who were living in the mountains were told like, no, you have to live the way the people in the plains live by doing the agriculture. To the agriculture in the mountains. So if someone have said that thing at that time, that was the first fake news that has been told. This is like a fake.
Uh,
This is not a news.
So Varunji, I think we are now 57 minutes into this live conversation, and that was a very fascinating presentation. So, before we close, just three quick things. What should people do, and how can people participate in destroying fake news? I mean, it's going to be there, but I think identification of fake news and ensuring that the agency that is spreading this fake news is taken into account, and stopping this fake news from coming up again. Matlab, what do you think are some of the three quick things that people can do to participate?
So, as an individual, it's our responsibility to know the truth because we are responsible for our lives, our family's life. That's very simple thing. It's your if you are going to choose what to eat, it's your responsibility to know what you are eating, what are your options, and which one of them is like most healthy. So, if there are like thousands and thousands of news articles coming up, or like they're bombarding you with five different kind of news article, it's your problem or your responsibility to identify which one you wanted to like trust and which one you wanted to discard. There is a way to identify it. If someone is like a serial liar, like a newspaper, in many example, I don't know, like the Hindu. So if the Hindu is spreading that fake news again and again against India, against like some particular community or like party, and it's fake news, it's been proven by so many times, and this is like more than one or two or three times, and don't trust it. And that you have your own life. Like I have been told when I moved to US and like I was interacting on social media, it's like there is some god in Hinduism which was married to his own daughter. I was like, I never heard that thing. I have been Hindu for so many years. I've seen my grandparents and all. No one have talked about it. No one even ever like mentioned about it. And we don't practice that kind of things in our own families. Like none of my family members practice this kind of things, or not even my extended family, friends, or Hindus. So that's like you're spreading the fake news about my religion, which I live every day in my like daily life, which I see millions of people living, and you are simply spreading a fake news. So that's a very simple way of identifying the lie doesn't have a base to stand on. If just assume if they said like a beef is mentioned in Vedas, if beef would be mentioned in Vedas, then there would be at least some Hindu temples or Hindus where the beef is being eaten. Or even like my religious family would be like, okay, we should eat beef kind of. So they just spread the fake news, and there's like most of them are the groups which have a lot of to gain from your voting rights, from your decision making about what to eat, what not to eat. One of the biggest fake news that I came across in like recent times was like some moderate amount of alcohol is really good for your health. Like small amount of wine is really good for health. Your face will shine if you drink wine because it has antioxidants and all research papers written on. And I was like, I actually believed that fake news was when I was growing. I was like, oh yeah, it might happen. Like I don't know, in antioxidants and all that. And then recently, I was doing one of our internal like health assessment like learning tools where they put the learning and wanted to tell you to stay healthy because there's an insurance company who have to pay you if you fall ill. They doesn't want to take chances with your health. They are the one people because they have to pay back whenever you become unhealthy. And they have written in that there's no evidence that alcohol or a moderate amount of wine makes you healthy. That is totally like there's nothing on that. So we have to understand that there will be intellectual people, there will be scientists, there will be media houses, there are corrupt people who would like you to make your decisions, change your decisions by of like what to eat, what to not to eat, like coffee, tea, uh, non-veg food, like instant energy drinks. Want to make muscles? You drink this $100 per kg. So you have to think back and see like what your parents were doing, like your and what your grandparents and ancestors were doing. Were they eating meat a lot, like to stay healthy? How long they lived? What they do?
I just want to so there is so Bonvita, Complan, and so on. I mean, the ads are basically showing the kid at the start line, and the kid drinks Bonvita, so he wins the race. तो इतने सारे ओलंपिक मेडल्स जो लोग जीत के आए हैं सब दाल चावल खा के ही जीत के आए एंड दे हैव नेवर हैड Bonvita or Complan or any of these drinks.
And
So
on the contrary, there is a research which shows like the most nutritious food is khichdi, like a dal chawal. You mix the dal and chawal together. That's the most nutritious food you can have. In like in nutrition power across the different cuisines, if you see like French cuisine, American burgers, and all that. So there are news which has been like properly done, with the research that is properly done. Everything was like properly like done, but if you just have to put effort to identify it because they will not serve you that is news. No one has an interest in telling you like Datul is very good for your teeth. As simple as have you ever seen an advertisement for Datul? You are not gonna see any advertisement for Datul because how will they make money out of Datul? They can't. They cannot like if you or I get to know about that Datul is good, then we just gonna get it from beauty, or we can ask some poor person to like get us the Datul from the tree, and we'll give you like 10 rupees for the piece of stick. It's so easy, like but and that's really healthy for the teeth. Like the Datul is being like that. Just don't do the research on it because if they do, no one is gonna know. No one's like किसी के दांत खराब नहीं होंगे तो फिर कौन पैसे देगा दांत ठीक करवाने के लिए. Similarly, health के बारे में आता है. Health is like a precious thing. If you stay healthy, you are going to save money out of so many things. And then doctors doesn't want you to stay healthy. Think about it. If everybody is healthy, then who will go to the doctor and pay the money to them? It's as simple as this. There is a money that is being like you work hard to earn your money, spend time in office, you apply your mind, you do a lot of things. And that money is when once you have that money, there are so many people who want to take bite of it. There are people, government who want to take a tax out of it. If it's a legit tax, you should give it because government is providing you so many services. Society is providing you so many services. You should donate back to the society, invest in your society. But they stop you from they tell you that tax is not good. They tell you that charity that you give to in your temples or to your NGOs, just Dharmic NGOs is not good. You should donate to the children's NGOs where they route the money to for like different illegal activities. I should say it illegal activities because they are not legally allowed to do that. So that is the whole like picture of it. It's your money. They are behind your money and they are behind your vote. They are behind your support. They want you to vote for certain candidates. That's why they feed you wrong information. They want you to live your life, spend your money in some particular places, in particular brands, in particular certifications, so that they can make money. They call it like by different name. They call it make a story behind it. Like this is the most best thing that you can do. Bonvita, that's the best thing you can feed to your kid because your kid will be the most healthy of it. So this is all the problem of fake news. And fake news is a challenge for humanity. Like if you wanted to survive and better in future, we have to tackle them. problem of fake news, and there is a way to identify the fake news. It's just BBC or like any of the media houses are not willing to tell you the way to identify the fake news. Even the Facebook, they have the minds to put the algorithm. However, they are not sincere to apply that algorithm or apply their that kind of thing. They need a level of sincerity, level of authenticity, and intellectuals also to apply, like to tackle the matters of fake news.
Okay, so basically, identify the news source. If they have been guilty of continuously propagating fake news, then they don't trust them. Secondly, I think we have to rely on the universal facts. Like Varunji said, if someone is saying sunlight is golden, the early morning sunlight is golden, there is enough evidence to prove that right in front of us. So we can agree and trust that. And then in that, we need to understand the intention behind the news. What exactly is the intention behind this particular news? Generally, if someone who is very naive or innocent, when they read a news headline, they don't tend to look at all of these things. They just tend to believe that news. But I think the idea of this discussion is to bring into their mind the question of skepticism. When you see news, try to question it. Is this real? Is this fake? I mean, what is the intention behind this news? I think that mindset is very important. The inquisitiveness will help people identify whether this news is real or fake, and by intention you can understand what is the purpose of this media outlet and where do they want me to go. So yeah, Varunji, thank you so much for sharing your views. That was also an incredible presentation, and
Thank
now and thank you so much, viewers, for spending time on this discussion. It's been over an hour, and I really thank you for taking your valuable time out and joining us. And this recording of this live stream will anyway be available on the channel. So if you enjoyed this live stream, do share the same link to your friends and family. Don't forget to subscribe to the Immortal Bharat channel, and you can also click on the bell notification icon, because that way you will get notified whenever there is a new live stream or when there's a new video on the channel. So before I go, Arunji, you wanted to share a thought?
But just wanted to say thanks to everyone, and if there's any understanding or misinformation, like I've tried to be convey at the best of my knowledge, but if there's any error, do let me know. The questions are good. We should ask questions. They're gonna help us become better in our understanding. And I just wanted to correct one place where you said sunlight is not golden. Oh, that's not right. If there's a sunlight, then there's ample evidence of it. If there's a darkness, there will be ample evidence of that too. If I have to say like some, if I say there's a raining is happening there, and that's the fact, then you will see so many evidence. The ground will be wet. There will be water somewhere. There will be humidity in the air. There will be clouds. So many things that will come up as a support of the fact, and try to understand, like if someone is putting in extra effort in trying to convince you of one thing or the other, there might be there is definitely some kind of a benefit that he's trying to make, and you have to make sure like if that benefit is the just benefit, the right benefit that he's trying to make, or is he's trying to just hook up the story to make you uh, or
Right. In other words, does it fit the framework of dharma or not?
yeah, you can say that. Is it like with nature, with truth, with love and compassion, and does it all the truth, love, and compassion will be taken care of in it or not? So,
Okay.
thanks, Santosh. Thank you again. Nice talking to
Thank
you
you, Arunji.
on this. Thanks so much information here. Thank
Yeah, thank you so much, viewers, and thank you, Varunji. We'll see you in the next live session.
you.
Thank you.
Jai